apologize. So we're actually on the floor, and I apologize. I'm driving back to Tucson now, but we were on the floor until about 4:30, and then I had to jump on and get sworn in for the board that I just joined. So I apologize, but I am glad to be with you all today. Thank you for the opportunity. For those of you who don't know me, and I wanted to also thank Judy for inviting me to join. For those who don't know me, Representative Alma Hernandez from Tucson. I am on my last year in the House, so I am termed out now in the House, and I'm now running to be the next state senator for our district. I am running on a team with my senator, Sally Ann Gonzalez from the Pascuayaqui tribe, and Genoveva Diaz, who's a teacher that works in our community. I have been one of the most successful Democrats since I got elected, passing a total of 11 laws. And I have been able to secure millions of dollars for our community. Currently, right now, we're still in session. It's actually our first day back. Republicans sent us on a quote unquote 1 month break, which was not really a break. They're trying to figure out a budget. And we're all back in session now. So it's been a really interesting cycle. Because you all know it's election season. So I think the Republicans just want to make the governor look as bad as they can, hoping that we go into a shutdown so that we all look bad because no one, likes when we have a shutdown. So we're dealing with a lot at the Capitol right now. Today was an interesting day of voting. And so just wanted to quickly jump on and say hello to you all and thank you for the work that you're doing. I wanted to also just mention that one of the things that we can all do and we should be doing is to help more Democrats get elected, right? After what I've already told folks, after the primary, my goal is to go and help to go help in the districts like LD17, which is a district that we've been very fortunate to have Kevin Volk there. And I'm really looking forward to being able to hopefully serve in a majority in the Senate because I'm very hopeful that this cycle will be able to flip at least one of our chambers. As one of the longest serving Democrats now, along with some of my other colleagues, we've been able to really figure out ways to get creative if our bills are not being heard or passed through the process. So I currently have one bill right now. It's a union bill that is moving. I used a striker, which means that I took a Republican bill and put my language on it. So currently the bill is sitting in the Senate waiting for a vote. And that was one of our labor priorities to prevent tax fraud. And I'm really excited to see it hopefully get done in the next week or so here. I'm really looking forward to working with you all. I know I missed the first part of it, but if any of you have any questions and want to meet in person or have me join you I can join for the next month when you have your next meeting. But I just wanted to apologize for the delay. So thank you all.
Thank you so much, Representative Hernandez. Thanks for joining us. And we appreciate hearing from you. And we are going to figure out a way to get some of the questions that we have for you from the chat to you and get those answers to our members. So thanks again for joining.
Yeah. And then just one last thing before I forget, there is a community forum that's being put together, that's being put on by I think it's the Tucson Spotlight and one of the other groups. They're putting it together. It's an open community event, so anyone's welcome to come and join in person as well. It's a meet and greet of candidates for our district and for District 17. So for those of you who want to have longer discussions, they will be having tables set up for candidates. And thank you all for your time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Kelly? Tina, did you want to ask any of the questions that you sent her in advance, or do you want me to go straight to the chat? And
go ahead, Margaret. Yeah. Do we start the question and answer? There have been a couple of questions that have been, we can do one or two. Is that okay, Representative?
Yeah, that's fine. I can't see them, sorry, because I'm driving. So
right.
I apologize.
maybe one or two of the key
Yeah, of
questions,
course. That's fine.
Shelley.
I just can't see them, so you're gonna have to read them. I
Yeah,
apologize.
yeah, no, Shelley
Yeah.
will,
You got it. Okay. Well, so our members are coming out of the gate swinging here and want to ask you about your support for the Iran war and for the National Constitutional Convention. Do you want to address that one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to. So, in regards, I'll start with the convention one because I think there's a lot of confusion, and what folks don't understand is this is a bill that, and first and foremost, there were multiple Democrats who voted for this, and the reason for that is we are never going to have Congress actually do this on their own. They do not believe in term limits. From day one, when I got elected in 2018, I signed on the pledge that said I wanted us to have a vote on term limits. And I have been supporting the same bill, although it's no longer a bill. It was this year, it was actually a postcard to Congress, which is a very big difference between what folks are out there saying. So I think the most important thing out of all of this is I will continue to be very vocal and upfront because I don't believe people should die in office holding on to power. That is just something that I have always believed and will continue to believe. So yes, I voted for a postcard to Congress, which means that as a legislative body, we are asking Congress to please look into this and hopefully take this up on their own. This bill, I know I've been hearing things that this bill was going to open up a convention and that we are somehow voting to undo the Constitution. That is not at all the case. And like I said, this bill turned into a postcard to Congress, which, you know, depending on what member you ask, they could say that this was this could have been an email to Congress. Postcards don't really have any legal meaning, so that's the issue with that one. The second question was about the Iran war. I'm not really sure where you're hearing that I'm in support of a war. I've been very clear from the beginning that the folks who are living in Iran and are dealing with a very oppressive regime should have the opportunity to be able to live without that fear. But am I supporting a war and out there advocating for war? Absolutely not. I'm not really sure where folks are getting that from, but I'm glad you asked that to correct the record on that. Look, there are a lot of issues that we have to deal with at the legislature. And I know that folks get very caught up in the weeds of, oh, this person supports this or this person supports that. As one of the longest serving Democrats and someone that actually at the university teaches the legislative process, this is something that I've been doing for the last few years. I would be very happy, and I know that my opponent has been spreading a lot of this. I'm very happy to show folks and hopefully help folks understand the way that the process works. But the reality is that we are in a divided government. We are in the minority as Democrats. We're hoping that this year we no longer have to be in the minority, but it is very clear based on the way that some of the commentary and things that we're seeing online, a lot of folks don't understand the legislative process. And as I mentioned, as one of the longest serving Democrats, you know, my background, I didn't tell you all, but for those who don't know, I have my master's in public health, I have my master's in legal studies, and I also have a law degree. I understand the process very well. And as I said, I teach it. So I'm always open to have discussions, but accusations of me supporting a war or me voting to open up a constitution, they're just inaccurate. And I'm glad you asked those. So thank you.
Okay, great. Somebody is asking about fundraising for their campaign. Do you accept funds for your campaign from AIPAC?
Look, this is, you know, I'm actually surprised that someone would even ask that. I don't know who asked that, but truly shame on that question even being asked. Because as legislative candidates and those of us, so first of all, let me tell you all, and this is something that I'm not going to apologize for. I am a very proud Jew, and I'm not going to be put in a circle in a square of I am somehow being accused of taking APAC money. So for those of you who are asking this question and who don't understand, APAC, one, does not get involved in local races and does not give to local candidates. So, I'm quite shocked that that question's even being asked. But with that being said, I think I have a feeling I know where these questions are going, and it's unfortunate that folks don't understand or want to even listen when it comes to this issue. Trying to blame me for taking APAC money is absolutely outrageous because APAC does not give money to local candidates. So, with that being said, I appreciate you inviting me on. I think it's unfortunate that this is what this is turning into, but
Yeah.
I hope you all have a great evening, and thank you.
Wait, I'm sorry, Representative Hernandez. I understand your concerns, and I do want to invite people to pivot to questions that are really relevant to state legislature. And we do have one, and that is, what's your view of the ESA vouchers? Would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, of course. I, like all the other Democrats, feel that we need to do what we can to put guardrails around the ESA program. It unfortunately is bankrupting our state. I am a very proud AFT union member, which means I am a part of a teachers union, and I have been since I started teaching. And I don't believe that we should continue to just allow this program to continue the way that it has been going. It was intended and created for two reasons. One, to be able to give opportunities for those with special needs that didn't have the resources in certain programs and schools around them, and to those in tribal communities. And unfortunately, that is not what the program is being used for now. It has completely exploded and taking a ton of money away from public education. So I, along with every other Democrat that I know in the legislature, we have introduced bills in the past. They would never get a hearing. This is the hill Republicans are willing to die on, and it's unfortunate. But until we change the makeup of the legislature, I don't see how the governor will be able to do anything around ESAs. So thank you for asking that. It is a very important issue because it has completely taken so much money away from our public education system.
Thank you. I think we're running out of time. Yes?
Yeah, I think we are. And it's really good that you were able to come on to the meeting, Representative Hernandez. And we really appreciate you making that effort as you're driving back to Tucson. Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
thank you so much.
thank you for having me. And again, I'm always happy to have conversations regarding policy, regarding the legislative process. As I mentioned, I've been in office for the last 8 years, and I have been one of the most successful Democrats on getting bills done, getting funding in the budget, and working collaboratively with our governor. So, I'm always open to having these discussions. There's a lot of misinformation that is being spread, and it's unfortunate that we are even in a time where I'm being questioned regarding issues of APAC that have nothing to do with the legislature. But, I can't fix the problems in the Middle East. I wish I could, but that is not the case. And I'm sure there are many of you who understand that as legislators, we have no control over what happens in the Middle East. And, it's a shame because I think these are discussions that we should be having and we could have, but not when it comes from a place of just attacks and accusations of this whole bankrolled by APAC and all of this. It's sad, but that's where we are. And one thing I will say is I am very proud of the work I have done as a legislator and hopefully, if and when I win as a senator, I will continue to be able to do that work. But as the ranking Democrat on the Judiciary Committee and as a member of the Health and Human Services Committee, as one of the very few Dems that has background on health policy and healthcare, I will continue to do that work. And I'm just really proud of what I do. And I wasn't here when my opponent was on to speak to you, but I'm sure that my opponent has a lot to say. But I think one thing I can proudly say and will continue to say is I have not advocated for political violence and rhetoric, and I have never done porn. And I am okay with people having questions, but if they have real questions regarding policy, I'm always happy to talk about this.
Okay, so Alma, I'm sorry, I'm one of your constituents, and I'm gonna cry bullshit on what you're saying because
Which is what? I'm sorry. Bullshit
because
on what?
first of all, you were rebuked by the Democrat.
Why is this person
Yeah,
speaking?
I don't know. I don't know.
No, this isn't permitted on our forum.
Right.
That's out of line.
Yeah. No, you need to put your questions in the chat. And um, it, and I would just like to say that this forum, we did specifically, not specifically, we do not engage in this kind of interaction. And I would like to say that Rocky Perez was also told to stick to the issues, and he did in general. And I would also like to say that I didn't know that APAC could not support state legislatures. So that's new information. And I would also like to say, Representative Hernandez, it wasn't an attack, it was a question, a valid question that members had. So I think I'm going to go back and say, I appreciate that you came on because it's really important to hear from you and from your opponent. And I learned a lot from what you said. And yeah, and I think if constituents have an issue, Representative Hernandez has offered the chance to come speak with her and do that directly. But this meeting is not the forum to have that kind of a discussion.
Thank you,
So.
Tina. And thank you, Representative Hernandez, for joining us. We're going to move on to, first I'm going to stop the recording.